Welcome to the Big Fish Contracting Podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Eric, along with my lovely co-host, Tanya.
Good morning.
Hi, Tanya.
Hello, Eric.
How you doing?
Great.
Great. We have another guest today.
We do.
Yeah, we're full of guests.
I love it. We're having lots of guests on.
Yeah, well, we like to be able to introduce all of our team to our listeners.
And slowly but surely, we're getting them all on.
And we have another one.
We have quite a few. And today, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Zack Davis.
Hi, Zach.
Nice to see you, Zach.
Yeah, that's very quick.
Thanks for listening.
Yes. That's funny. So Zach has been with us now for going on 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's part of our exterior sales team. Yep. Roofing, siding, window consultant.
Gutters.
Gutters.
All the outside.
Yeah. He is a potentially professional drone operator.
That is true.
Which
he
is really
a
nice.
master on the drone.
I am officially able to do it through the FAA, so that's always a positive.
So
Licensed.
That is good.
Yeah,
Yep.
so, and a very, honestly, a great way to do full inspections
100%.
of roofs, very safe, and you're able to see things with your drone that you're probably able to see things better than we are even with up close, because we don't have to worry about falling off a roof.
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, if you're up on the roof, you're also
You can
okay.
go
Don't
everywhere.
fall.
Yeah.
For sure. The pictures that I take with the drone would be probably better than pictures you could take with your phone climbing up on the roof, especially if it's a steep roof and you're worried about falling off in the first place. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's been nice, added value, and also a encouragement for me to learn how to fly a drone.
Yeah, that's on your to-do list. Here.
It is on my to-do
You
list.
can tackle training.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Zach. Married, children?
Yep. So I have a wife named Courtney. We've been married for 8 years in July of this year. And I have a 4-year-old daughter named Renly. She's cute. Yeah, she's awesome. She's fantastic.
Been over by the horses.
Yep, 100%. She's big into animals. She's big into playing with worms and ants. And she likes when there's, next to our house, there's kind of a plot of land that has puddles and stuff like that. And she loves putting on the rain boots and going and jumping in the puddles. So that's always a fun time. And
she doesn't care for the uncles?
Nope,
No,
I guess not. Just the ants. And she
That was a
likes the
dad
big
joke.
ants.
Dad joke.
The big ants.
Very cool.
And then in June, we're going to have another baby, and looking forward to that.
Yay. Is it a boy or girl?
Little boy.
Okay.
So exciting.
Excellent. So that's coming up
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah. Looking forward to
Is
it.
Renly excited to be a big sister?
She is now. She was always excited to be a big sister, but she was very adamant that it was going to be a little girl.
Oh, so she's got to wrap her mind around that. The
So
disappointment.
I remember when I originally told her that I always told her that it was going to be a boy, and she kept correcting me and telling me that it was going to be a girl. Then when we found out that it is going to be a boy, I told her, and she said, "Well, I guess."
Yeah.
So she wasn't super excited about it to start with.
That little card of "Daddy's always right," right?
For sure, for sure.
You can literally use
you
that
can
for
play
her
that
whole
for a
life.
long time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and you guys live in Oconomowoc?
Yep,
Yeah.
we live about 3 blocks from the high school in Oconomowoc, and we do a lot of walking down to downtown and Waylands and farmers markets and stuff like that.
Nice little beach over there in
yeah.
summer. And you're actively involved in the Heartland community.
Yep.
In your role
Yep.
as a...
So I coach Arrowhead lacrosse. I am an assistant coach for the high school program. I also am the director for the youth lacrosse program for the boys. And then I coach the 7th, 8th grade team. So that's been a great experience. I've coached now, I think this is for 10 years. I graduated college in 2015, and right afterwards I started coaching for high school. So this is my first experience coaching for youth lacrosse in the last couple of years, but it's been great. I know that trying to build a program to win state championships at the high school level starts at the youth level. So investing in the kids when they're in 7th, 8th grade and even below that is very important for success at the high school level. So that's kind of been our motto with the guys that I've coached with over the last, 5-6 years. And we're looking forward to being more competitive for Arrowhead at the high school level.
Is Arrowhead a competitive high school lacrosse program?
Yeah, so over the last, so I think 2006 was the first year that Wisconsin had lacrosse. It was a club up until 2023, and Arrowhead was, in the first early years, they were able to win some state championships. After that, they kind of got to the point where they were always top 10 teams in the state, but I don't know that they were really competing for a state championship. So the coaching staff that I came in with in 2023, we had all coached at KM that had won state championships. So that was something that we were interested in making sure happened at Arrowhead while we were here as well. So,
Yeah, it's a year-round deal now.
yeah, so now it's WIAA sport, so we are only able to have contact with the kids from March through June. We usually start like the beginning of March and go through the middle of June is usually the state championship. But yeah, I coach for Alpha Lacrosse, which is a club team. I also do personal lessons throughout the year. So I probably have 12 to 15 different goalies that during the summer, fall, and winter that I do lessons with pretty much year round, except for during the season because it's tough to, with me. Yeah, it's tough to get the time, especially with the high school and youth both being on the same days majority of the time. I'm coaching usually from like 5 o'clock till almost 10 o'clock at night. So
Yeah, busy.
I always say my wife is a lacrosse widow during lacrosse season.
I would imagine.
Yep.
Yeah. No, we did it. I coached volleyball. It's a time commitment, but it's pretty rewarding at the end of the day. When you're getting invited to their weddings years later.
100%.
It's kind of fun. Yeah.
And it's really cool. One of the things that I've really taken from coaching is, especially through the Alpha program and coaching club, this year was the first year that I think I had more kids that I had coaching with me that have graduated, gone off to college, and then come back and they coach than I did not coaches that have coached or that I've coached at some point. So I have lots of kids that they go off to college, come back, and either during the summers or while I'm coaching with them, they'll be like, hey, do you want to get a beer? Or hey, do you want to have a cigar? Or hey, you want to get together for lunch? So I really try to not only invest in them as lacrosse players, but I try to be a role model for them and try to really help them to become good young men and good fathers and good husbands someday, and try to teach them the lessons of if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're forgotten the majority of the time. And that really kind of helps people get success in college, get people opportunities for playing in college or getting some of their college paid for or all of their college paid for from playing lacrosse. So
yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
And love having a Big Fish Contracting is a contributor to the Arrowhead
100%.
Lacrosse program. We're proud to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I'm proud to have you representing us in that community.
Yeah.
It's just another way that we are entrenched in this Lake Country area.
Yep.
Long term, and it's just I just love it.
In behalf of the Arrowhead Lacrosse program, we really appreciate it because the backstops have been fantastic for us not having to do as much ball hunting, which then gives us more time to work on fundamentals and the small things that make a big difference. And I think the goals will be here. If they're not here today, they'll be here tomorrow. So We'll be able to use them for the first game.
We Big Fish was able to purchase goals for the Arrowhead Lacrosse program. And a backstop.
Yep, backstops. Yep. So it's actually been kind of funny. Over the first probably 5 or so games, the refs have commented to me. So are they going to say Big Fish Contracting after every goal that you guys score?
I love that.
And I'm like, yeah. Or at least 5,000 times.
Yeah.
Whichever comes
Do
first.
they have a tally sheet?
No, I don't think so. But
5,000 goals. That's a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like a lot of points.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. But it's been great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
it was. Yeah, we're
Again,
happy to
it's
do
like just so good to be involved in the community and giving back to the community, and these are the people we serve. So
yeah, and I also hear from people. I mean, my truck is at Arrowhead a lot, and I know Chad's truck and Jason's truck also. But it's amazing how many people are like, "Oh yeah, I've seen the trucks driving around." Mm-hmm. So we're in the community quite a bit.
Exactly, we love it. We're proud to be part of it. So, how tell us about a little bit about your journey to get into consulting and sales with roofing and siding and gutters.
So if you asked my family and friends, I think that they would be surprised that I was in this industry because I'm not a big fan of heights. Mm-hmm. So I did a lot of hunting and stuff growing up, but I would not climb up into a tree stand because I didn't like heights. Yeah. So when I started telling people after college, I started working for actually James Hardy Building Products, doing sales on the manufacturer side. And then I actually started working with a contractor and started doing more roofing sales. When I was telling people that I was working in roofing, they thought that was quite funny that the guy that's afraid of heights is the one that's climbing up on roofs and doing assessments and stuff like that. And I realistically was more interested in finding a job that was mainly an outdoor job. I really enjoy not having to go to an office. I really enjoy being out, driving around, and going and meeting with homeowners. I'm an extrovert, so me going and meeting with people really is big for me in order to constantly have those conversations. And I really enjoy being outside. I really enjoy having the flexibility to be able to, if you have an appointment or something like that, you just don't schedule the meetings at those specific times that you have work appointments. So that's been really nice. So I started working for a company doing roofing sales, and within a couple of years, I was kind of running the whole roofing side of his business. And then I took a job working in commercial roofing sales. So I got an opportunity to not only know the commercial side, but also the residential side. So I think that's I'm somebody that likes to always learn new things. So I really enjoyed learning the commercial side as well as the residential side. Climbing up a 40-foot ladder on 2 or 3-story buildings was a little out of my comfort zone. I had one story actually in particular. I had climbed up onto a 4-story building, and the crew was actually working at the time. So while I was up there, it started snowing, and I went to go get back onto my ladder. And as I went to climb back onto the ladder started to tip. And I luckily had put a bungee cord around the ladder so that way it wouldn't fall completely. But between appointments, I had to go home and change clothes in between because that was a very scary situation.
That'll do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been working in residential and commercial roofing for now will be 10 years since I graduated college. So got some experience doing that, and I look at this job more as a coaching job as anything, to where I get to meet with people that don't necessarily know much about roofs, don't necessarily know much about siding or anything like that. They just know that it looks pretty when you put it on the house, and know that it's not going to be a cheap project to do majority of the time. So I really get to coach people through the process of, all right, this is all that the project entails. these are the products that we like to use. This is why we like to use those products. And this is why it costs so much to do a roof. Because if it was as simple as just throwing shingles on a roof, then it would definitely cost a lot less. But making sure that you do an entire roofing system or system of siding to make sure that water isn't getting into your house, which is the ultimate goal of doing one of those projects. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of it of the coaching aspect for doing this job.
How did you get here?
How did Zack Davis come to be with Big Fish?
So all of a sudden one day we got this lacrosse coach
right.
hanging around.
Yeah, I believe just from seeing the trucks around and knowing that you guys do good work, I was interested in looking into some new positions. And I reached out, I believe I sent an email or something like that to Tanya asking if you guys were looking for somebody. At the time, I don't necessarily know that you were specifically looking for somebody, but she's like, well, I'll get you in touch with Eric and you guys can have a conversation. Mm-hmm. So Eric called and we had a good conversation and we ended up meeting at Cornerstone over in Oconomowoc. And I went from kind of running my own business to working for somebody was really scary for me because I didn't want it to be one of those things where I go in and I'm micromanaged and told that I have to be a specific place at a specific time. So after that meeting, when I met with you, Eric, I felt very comfortable with it. I felt like I was going to have the flexibility and the ability to, as long as I got my job done and as long as I was hitting my goals, have the ability to just kind of do what I do. And I think it's worked out really well. And I've really enjoyed my time at Big Fish. And I think that the sky's the limit.
We pride ourselves, obviously, here on the team of people that we have surrounding us, and the right people is more important than what you know or your resume, and you fit in really well to our culture.
I think when I first met you, it was like, have we met before? You just fit so seamlessly, and like you wouldn't know if you've been here 10 years, 20 years, or 2 years, right? You just fit right in.
And the one thing that I will say too is again, from the coaching aspect, I always like learning new things, and I felt like there was a lot of things I could learn from you. And then I kind of got to the point where I was looking for a mentor, and you got me in touch with Chad, and that's been great for me because not only from the work aspect, but I really got to pick his brain about setting goals, not only for the year, but a 5-year goal and a 10-year goal. And then talking through, he's been in the health and fitness industry. I was kind of trying to figure out how I wanted to lose some weight, but he and I kind of worked through things and got some goals together. And I actually started doing a thing called 75 Hard, which I started 36 days ago. This is my 37th day of it. So I'm a little bit more than halfway through.
Love that.
And since December of last year, I've lost now 50 pounds.
That's amazing.
Congratulations.
So, feeling a lot better.
And goosebumps. Yeah, that's so sweet.
But that's like such a perfect example of the team here because we all support each other beyond just our day-to-day.
For sure.
Right? The whole team is like that. And I think a lot of people we talk to each other about our home lives or kids and trying to reach personal goals, like working out.
Yeah, we it's not compartmentalized so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, I have my work life and then my home life and your coaching life. You know, it's just it's very community oriented and very holistic in nature. So it's. That's awesome. Chad's awesome. I'm so glad that you've been able to work. So what are some of your like 5-year, just what does that broad brush look like? Yeah,
so for me, I would like to buy a home. I've never owned a home yet. In the next couple of years, I'd like to buy a home. And I would like to buy a home that I could kind of renovate, kind of like you did with your place. Yeah. So I'd like to buy something that needs a new roof and gutters and all that kind of stuff, and use it as a learning experience because I know that from getting your house completely renovated, that that's a different process when it's your house being done versus you working on somebody else's house.
Yeah.
So I think that learning that aspect will be fantastic. I want to get down to 250 pounds. Last December, I was at 350. Now I'm at 300, and I want to continue to lose some weight and kind of get back to feeling like I'm somewhat athletic again. So I've been doing yoga every day.
Yay.
So between that and losing some weight, I definitely feel much better. I was going to the chiropractor a lot, and I haven't been to the chiropractor, I don't think, in 2 or 3 months. And
That's excellent. Yeah.
not that I don't like chiropractors, because they're definitely fantastic. But it was just one of those things where I think the extra weight on your back is definitely not helpful, and becoming more limber and more flexible, it definitely helps with all that kind of stuff too. So.
Yeah, and the energy levels are up.
Yep.
You're able to, I would imagine, be a better, I don't think this term is catchy, but version of yourself
100%.
When it comes to coaching, serving our customers, being a husband, being a dad. It's all together.
And it's awesome with the coaching aspect. I carry around a 1 gallon thing of water every day. And the first couple times the kids were like, oh, what's that about? And I was able to tell them that I'm doing 75 hard, and now every day that I don't have it at practice, if I leave it in my truck or something like that, the kids will be like, hey, are you drinking your water today?
Yeah.
So I feel like the kids are investing in me as much as I'm investing in them. So that's always cool too.
Yeah. You coach both boys and girls?
I have not coached girls lacrosse.
Okay.
They are very different.
Girls are
and yeah, girls lacrosse is non-contact, and also the stick is actually different. They don't wear any pads because it's non-contact. The rules are all different. The field size is actually different. So I have a feeling that my daughter will probably want to play lacrosse, so I should probably learn the rules to the girls game a little bit more. But I have not coached girls lacrosse. I do lessons with a couple of lacrosse goalies that are girls. But those again are very similar.
Yeah.
So
the first time I ever coached volleyball, I had no idea what the rules were. None. I didn't know what a libero was. I didn't know the rotation process. But I didn't know how to say, "Come on, girls,
right?
Let's go.
You can do it."
So I actually, my mom had me when she was 17, and then my aunt and I were really close. She played volleyball, and I pretty much grew up as a ball boy in a gym. Yeah. For her playing volleyball, lots of stories and stuff like that growing up of I would end up going to go get a ball, and I would come back with like snacks and stuff, and people would just like give me
Zach, you look
stuff.
hungry.
Yeah, Zach, you look hungry, or here, would you like some grapes or something like that? But yeah, I think that's really where the sports aspect kind of grew the most.
As far as with Big Fish Pratt, like what are some of your goals? Not from a sales standpoint, but more. We've talked about learning more like windows and just.
Yeah, so I've been going to appointments with Paul here and there when he's got time for me to kind of bug along with, but. The other thing that I'm really looking to do is get into working more on the insurance side of doing interior projects. I have talked to you about doing more learning Xactimate and learning maybe interior projects with that. I worked previously with a company that did a lot of that, and although it's probably been 4 or 5 years since I've done that, I would like to get back into doing that because I think that there's good money in doing for it. And yeah,
absolutely.
So I think expanding the business and that kind of stuff, that would be a great way to do that.
Yeah.
So once lacrosse season's over and once baby is here and we are not quite as busy, I would love to start doing some traveling and getting into.
Not quite as busy.
Yeah,
that just doesn't. That's not. And you're about to have another kid, so you're going to be busy.
I'm thinking if I get through June, I'm going to be feeling like I'm a lot less busy because of less lacrosse season, baby will be here, but
Yeah.
So besides Tanya, who's your favorite person?
Oh my gosh, she didn't even say that.
Well, I think I talked to.
You don't have to agree.
I talked to Tanya the most, and the thing that I love about
Tanya,
for sure, the thing that I love about Tanya the most is when I was kind of running things on my own, I had to wear so many different hats, and now there are so many different things where I can be like, "Hey, Tanya, can you help me with this?"
Yeah.
And that is fantastic. So I appreciate you for that. I just really like being part of the team. I think being an ex-athlete that likes coaching, the team is the biggest part for me.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed working with Chad, and I really enjoyed learning from Chad and him kind of discipling me a little bit, and also being a little bit of more of a mentor, I think is definitely something that I've learned. There's definitely been a lot of fruit from the relationship that I've had from him. I think you ask most people and they will say that there's been a lot of fruit from the relationship that they've had from him. So just how he doesn't look at it as sales, he looks at it as serving somebody. And I've really tried to adopt that as much as I can. And I think it's just been a huge blessing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome.
Gives me
Love
chills.
it. I know. I'm so proud to be a part of it. And to watch your growth over the last 2 years. You're settling into just more not the big fish way.
Sure.
And it's not like it's necessarily different than all these other companies, but we just have a way and a priority in loving people and serving people.
Yep.
And all the other things, of course, as a sales, as a guy, it's like you want to make sales. I mean, we don't hide from that, but the process of serving and loving and then all those things come. So,
I think the thing that I've really enjoyed the most is there's never a question of should we do it or should we not. Is it the right thing to do? Yes. Even if it costs us money to do it, we will do it. And there have been times, and I will say sometimes maybe even to a fault, that I've asked, hey, Eric, should we do this or should we do that? And your answer to me always is, what's the right thing to do? Mm-hmm. What is the customer going to come out of in the end of the process to have a good experience?
Yeah. And that affects your bottom line at the 100%. End of the day. And we understand that. But you don't fight on it because you're the right type of person.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. And then we learn from it. Next time we try not to, make that mistake.
Right. 100%.
So,
and everything's a learning experience. Yeah. So, we all make mistakes, and as long as you learn from them, which is what I teach in coaching too. Yeah. We all make mistakes, and as long as you're learning, you're not losing, you're learning. So.
Yeah. Tanya, anything else?
This is
great.
So good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's great. We appreciate again all of our listeners. Just an opportunity to get to know you more. We talk about it on the opening of the podcast is approaching construction from a human level.
Yep.
And just to be able to have time to get to know you, to ask about your boy who's coming in June. For all of our customers out there, you see Zach rolling around in a cool GMC, red lettering. It's a sharp truck.
He has a sharp looking truck. The red really pops on there.
Yeah, I forgot to tell what happened your first week of work.
Yeah.
What did happen your first week of work?
Was it the first? I think it was in the first couple of months.
No,
I thought it was maybe your first day.
I think it was the first week.
It was certainly the first week that we got that truck.
Yeah, so I got a brand new truck.
Human.
Yeah, I finally got it lettered. I finally got the decked system that I wanted in the back for me to be able to make sure everything was nice and organized. And then I was leaving an appointment, and I was going to turn left on Capitol, and there was stopped traffic going right. And I looked both ways, and I looked both ways, and then I started to go because there was in the middle of the stopped traffic, they left me a lane to go, and somebody decided that they were not going to wait.
Yeah.
And they kind of went out around traffic, and I didn't even see them. And it was one of those things, when they hit me, it was just like a movie to where everything goes into slow motion, and you're like, what happened?
You're like, I'm in this.
And then you get to the end of it, and you're like, I think I got in an accident.
Oh no.
So yeah, that was an interesting experience, and I know that my nickname for a while was Crash, from most of the guys on the team, and
Zack Davis.
Yeah, I remember calling Eric, and I'm like, I got into an accident. Right. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, but I think the truck's totaled. And he's like, well, as long as you're okay, that's all that matters. But it was just one of those things where I was like,
it was a great way to start.
Yeah, great way to start. Yeah, for sure.
With a bang. Yeah, I was thinking about NASCAR lettering up your next truck that way.
Might as well.
I like that.
Bump and grind a little bit.
Might
you're
as
not
well.
rubbing, you're not racing.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah. But that was a memorable
That was
not
I mean,
great,
that was
maybe
Sure,
necessarily
sure.
for you, but it is, tragedy plus time equals comedy. So it's pretty funny now.
100%.
It is funny now. At the time, it was a little alarming.
Yeah, and you were all right, but the truck was totaled.
Yeah, truck was totaled.
It was like maybe 500 miles on the thing.
Yeah,
it was like, remember,
Oh, yeah.
it was
Oh, yeah.
definitely
Now
under
we're just
1,000.
Yeah, it was less than 1,000 miles.
And it was a nice truck.
And
It was too.
Thank you, everyone, for listening again. You'll certainly be blessed if we get to send Zach over to your home.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you all so much. Reach out anytime.
Yeah. Give us a call, 262-470-1114.
They can find us on the World Wide
On
Web.
the World Wide Web.
Yeah. At
www.
https //
www.bigfishcontracting.com. All right.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.